What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's your girl Diamond Melvin, and welcome to another episode of In Depth with Diamond. We're back. Sorry, y'all, I've been MIA for a little moment. Listen, March is a month of celebrations in my family. It's my mom's birthday, my anniversary, my birthday, and it was my 30th. So, I took a little moment to get away. So March is pretty much one of those months where I'm like low-key off limits, but I am back with new content, new episodes, and I'm back with a goodie for y'all today. This topic on this episode, we're going to be discussing hearing God's voice when making big decisions. Listen, that's where your girl is at right now. I just feel like I've been happening to make a lot of big decisions since 2023 came in. It's been real spicy for this year, but hearing God's voice during those times is very important. If we truly want to say that He's the center of everything that we do, we got to listen to His voice for guidance and direction, right? So, wanted to definitely get in, and when I'm talking big decisions, that could be anything. That could be marriage, a person that you're trying to date. It could be a career change, changing a church, receiving a mentor. All of those things are big decisions. So whatever a big decision is to you, make this personal, and hopefully I share some good tips. So I have actually been blessed and been reading this Bible plan. Tidbit, if y'all don't have the Bible app, it's through, I think it's Life Version. Go ahead and jump on that. It's a really cool app. I love it. It allows you to connect with other friends or family members, whatever have you, that all are, on this walk of life or trying to read the Bible. You can see where other people are in their process of reading throughout the day or completing certain Bible plans. And to me, it's an encouragement, like you're not in this battle alone. Like there is someone else that's really out here trying to be on this journey with you. So the app is really cool. And you can basically get a Bible plan about anything. I always try to focus on a Bible plan that's speaking to me with something that I feel like I'm facing at that moment. So I really wanted to get one about listening to God, because I feel like in the season that I'm in right now, I've been having some hindrance in this area. And I am big on not moving, not making a decision without Him giving me not only the yes, but the guidance and my direction of where I need to go next. And most importantly, I want to stay in His will. So in this particular plan, it's called Listening to God by Charles F. Stanley. He really dropped some great tips about knowing when it's the voice of God. When He speaks, that it's lining up with these examples, right? So the first one that he gives is that it's lining up with the word. Very important. I definitely believe wholeheartedly that whatever God is going to give you is going to line up with His word. He's not going to give you anything on contrary to what His word is saying. And that is super key, super important. So if you get a message or, God is speaking to you, hey, next step, well, God, show me this in your word. Where is this at? And if it doesn't line up, then I would, definitely consider go back and seek Him and really figure out, was that really from God? Or was that my emotions speaking? Was that my feelings talking? So definitely line up that message with the word of God. It's extremely important. The next second one that I want to go ahead and roll in is the message that God gives you. It's going to challenge your faith to rise to a new level. So I'm pretty sure if y'all may not have heard this before, but there's a phrase and it says, it's a quote, it's like, new levels, new devils, okay? And I can really say that every time that I need to level up in my faith, it is some, there's a lot going on when things happen. There's some stuff that I gotta fight through to get there. It doesn't come just with an ease. And an example that I can pretty much give that, not in my current ministry, but in a ministry that I was previously, the Lord had spoke to me and was like, listen, like, it's time to go. And me being Diamond, I'm a very people-oriented person. I really don't like, I don't think anybody intentionally wants to hurt people, but some people do. But I don't intentionally, like to hurt people. I don't want to necessarily say I'm a people pleaser, but I've never been one for conflict. But God was speaking to me so heavy when I was in my previous ministry, like, it's time to go. And so respectfully, I did have a talk with my previous leadership, and you know, in that conversation I definitely didn't get the answer that I was hoping for. But in my head I was like, once again, not listening to God's voice. I was in my head, well, leaving is supposed to look a certain way, right? Like I felt like I was supposed to leave in a place where it was gonna be all flowers and people were gonna be like whisking me off and giving me congratulations and hugging me and stuff. And it was just like, that wasn't happening. So I was like, okay, it's not time for me to go yet because it doesn't look this way. So I found out very easily that if you disobey God when it's time to move, there's a consequence for the disobedience. So he created a space for me to move. What I experienced in my previous ministry, it was like, I felt like I had got kicked out of my home, and then I didn't see it, you know, when it was happening, because we don't ever see it when we in it. But when everything ended up happening, I was like, wow, like God, you forced me to move. He was just like, oh, so you're not gonna obey me? I tried to tell you once and make it all good for you so you could just go ahead and exit gracefully, but now you're not moving. So let me go ahead and spice things up a bit and then force you to move. And I can say the piece with my faith, I got so close to God in a moment where I felt like I was getting so disconnected from him. And I know that sounds crazy, y'all, but in that place, I was like, listen, if I didn't know God for myself when that transitioning was happening, I probably never would have had stepped back in church in my life. I would have been cool not going back, because that's how much damage had been done, to the point where people were so fixated on what was happening to me personally that they didn't see that I was spiritually dying. But my relationship with God kept tugging me, and I was just like, God, what am I supposed to get out of this? And my faith just moved to another level, because now my love for people is like unmatched. So I felt like he gave me this love of people, and for me to have the ability to meet people where they are when they really are trying to seek the Lord and change. And I did not have that before. So new level, it's coming. And when I sit here and think about every new level that he's raised me to, transitioning from ministry, getting married, it's a new level every time that there is a change. Even when we bought our house, another situation happening. So really, if the message is not causing you to have some type of effect on your faith, I would once again go back, seek the Lord, because if you're trying to exceed and he's trying to take you higher, there should be some challenge with your faith. There should be a courage. It should be some hesitation to be like, God, I don't want to do that. And it should be a push behind it. It's to take you out of your comfort zone and to push you further. Moving on, guys, my next tip I want to bring out is knowing the difference between God's voice and Satan's voice. Now that's important, right? I really do. Y'all know how you see them videos and you be having the good angel on one side on your shoulder and then the devil on the other side of the shoulder. It be feeling like that sometimes, right? Like, you know, because the Bible tells us when you try to do good, evil is always present. Knowing the difference is key. And what I take from that is, we know fruits of the spirit, whether it's temperance, love, peace. If that message is coming from God and it's not causing me to operate in one of those fruits of the spirit, then that's not God. God is not gonna say, oh girl, don't worry about him, like brush her off, because that's not God, that's flesh. God will say, you need to empathize, you need to love, you need to comfort, you need to, first of all, you need to be praying. If it's not lining up with what those fruit of the spirit, what you are supposed to exuberate as a spiritual being, then that message is not from God. God is gonna cause you to do things that your flesh does not wanna do. And that's why the Bible talks about your flesh warring against you, because it's always gonna war against you, because you're trying to subdue that and push that flesh down while you're trying to raise the spirit of God up in you. So if it's not connecting with them fruit of the spirit and you having that peace, that meekness, that grace, that joy, like if it's not lining up, once again, redirect the message, because Satan is gonna tell you those things. Satan is gonna tell you things to make you selfish, to keep you in that place of just wanting to get revenge, wanting to hurt, not wanting to be the bigger person. Like, that's Satan. And you have to remember his plan is to kill, steal, and destroy. These are things that you don't have to be physically doing to a person. You could kill someone's spirit with your word. You can steal someone's joy with your words. You can steal someone's joy with a look at them. You ever just see somebody, you be looking at them and you be like, oh shoot, my face. And then you look at them, their whole life they're just crushed up because you just stared at them a certain way. So if it's not lining up with that fruit of the spirit, I would reconsider the message, because God doesn't send things to you in that way. And then my last point is disobedience has consequences. Listen, y'all, plain and simple, the Bible says the wages of sin is death. Disobedience has consequences. And yeah, it may not be in a sense of how things used to be in the Bible where you were getting stoned or killed or mauled by lions. In our real day lives, it could be your peace being taken away. It could be you losing that joy, that peace in your home, that peace in your marriage. It could be sickness. It could be a financial strain. It could be you and your husband not being on the same page. It could be them children acting out around here being crazy. It could be just a disruption, and disobedience is key. Like, you have to obey the voice of God. And I know, y'all, I'm the first one to know it can happen. And you just be over here like, because let me tell you, God don't ever put it in a place where it just be like, yeah, God, this it. No, God makes sure you in the most unconventional setting to be like, go pray for them. And you be like, oh, the one that's over there looking like they about to just like blow everybody up. Like, yeah, I need you to go touch him. I need you to go speak to him. And you like, no. But then when you start looking at it at a place of this is a soul, then you gotta go. Y'all just have to remember, your walk with Christ is not about you. It is the most unselfish walk that you will ever have. The whole point of the Great Commission is we are disciples and just be out here spreading the word and the love of God. That's what we are commissioned to do. So if God is unctioning you or giving you a message and telling you what to do and you don't do that, you have got to look at it as that was a soul for the kingdom. And I don't know about anybody else, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to win as many souls as possible. And I don't want God to ever be displeased with me. So the fact that not only disobedience has consequences, but it could look at a place where God could potentially be disappointed in me, that works with me enough that I'm just like, nope, it's not worth it. Disobedience has consequences, and ultimately obedience is better than sacrifice. So guys, thank you for watching. Keep your girl in prayer, because this is where I'm at. I feel like at the moment, I want to let y'all know my whole Dear God journey and Death with Diamond experience, it thrives off of me being transparent. And I think it's important for viewers to know that this is where I'm at. Like, I'm not over here one of those people trying to say that my walk with Christ is always 100%, but I wake up every day and I'm trying to do better. So I hope that you gain some tips from this message. If you are facing any big decisions right now, I hope you line it up with some of the tips that I just gave you, and ultimately, if it's not lining up in those areas, that you reconsider and go back and seek the Lord the more until he really gives you that answer. Check out that Bible plan by Charles F. Stanley, Listening to God, in the Bible app. It is amazing. I just gave y'all like some tidbits of what I got from it, but the whole thing is really eye-opening. I'm in a place now where meditation is important. We have to allow God to speak back to us. You know, I feel like sometimes in our relationship with God, we can do so much talking. And so, not to say that I don't need to be talking to God, because of course we need to talk to him. That's our way to communicate. That's our way to pray. But I want it to be that y'all also understand that you have to listen. So in that moment where you pour yourself out and you give him everything, sit in that place for however long you feel like you need to sit there and just allow him to speak. Give him that opportune place where he needs to speak back with you, because we can get so busy in our everyday and just talking to God that we forget that he wants to talk back to us too. So definitely do that, guys. I hope you enjoy. Stay tuned for the next episodes to come. Remember, y'all, the journey starts with just them 2 words. Dear God, peace out.
Self-care is a really, really big one. Whatever self-care is to you, as long as it's not anything that's not detrimental to you. So, you know, you're not going to do crack if that makes you feel good, or drugs or substance abuse.
Please, people, do not do crack.
You're not going to do that. But things that are conducive to your health,
right,
that are not causing a detriment at the same time.
Exactly. When we're thinking about, someone that, is dealing with their mental health, how can they get in contact with someone like you or in this particular field or those plethora of resources that we talked about?
So the day and age we live in right now, everything is internet. So you can always, of course, yes, you can always Google. You would want to Google like psychiatrists near me or mental health resources near me.